this long. This is for you. Yeah, things aren't the same without you right here. For you we stay strong, we fight through
I'm live.
this. I promise you a method
Alright.
that's not in vain.
How do I invite you?
You and many others, we can really change.
Notification telling me you're live first.
I just said she needs something to let her have on it to drop
You know.
on Friday.
Right.
She already let you guys know? No, she told me at the place and I forgot to tell you. So.
Right.
Okay, see where on the bottom where it says free
Bring
last
them
week?
on camera. Ad.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to do before and it never worked. Because your phone was a pack of crap.
Right. Hey, you guys in that room.
Hi. Facebook. What's up? Who's that pretty girl up in the top corner there? You better be laughing with me and not at me.
No, I'm laughing at you.
Yo, check out this hairdo though. Alright, Facebook. We have 2 people watching. Alright, we're down to 1. But anyway, we're here at the radio station live.
Really loud.
And we'll be going on here in a few minutes. It's 3:53. So we'll be live in about
What song, Donnie?
10 minutes. And yeah, so stay tuned in. We will be live in about 7 minutes. And you guys will get to enjoy the radio show firsthand. No edits, none of that. We just are here to do it for you and let you watch.
Talking.
So yeah. All right, guys. I gotta figure out where to set this phone now. Where do I put it? Where do I put it? Hey, we gotta find a way for Donnie to be in here too, though. Okay. Hey Donnie, we're cuddling, just to let you know.
That's bad company.
No, it's not.
We'll be going live here in a second, guys. Sorry. For the viewers. But yeah, we had a good night today. You'll hear on the radio show. But yeah, we did a good amount of cleanup, a good amount of outreach, and just waiting to go on the radio show here. I don't know what to talk about
Hey, guys.
right now. Karina, say something.
Some.
What are we doing?
So today we're gonna have a
You're
pretty
cuddling with
awesome
me.
show.
Because
We
you gotta be
have
on the live too,
2
right?
different guest
Say hi, world.
speakers.
I don't know why I got 7 microphones over here. Let's put this one over that way.
We are going to be
Hey,
having
who's
Rudy.
coming?
Donnie, will you go check the door?
Hi, Amy.
Amy, hi Amy.
For Rudy and Phil.
Okay. From the Father Tracy Health and Wellness Center, who we are partners with, where our home
Donnie's
base is
going to
on
let him in
Sundays.
now.
And we also have a gentleman named Phil coming on. He's going to be sharing his story. So it should be a really great show today. Legend's sleeping. Mascot sleeping.
Amy. All right.
Do we have a count on the amount of needles we Hi! How are you? Good.
Let's do your thing.
So, wait. I'm gonna grab you a different chair. Okay, you scoot down. Do you want to go on the air?
Oh, no.
No?
I'll just sit.
Okay. Anywhere you want. Anywhere you want. And
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yo, Davey.
so this is Chris Perry.
We know each other.
You guys up
My sponsor's
an
watching.
area.
I'm here, but obviously you gotta be watching on here too, right? What's up, dude? Hope you're having a good day, David and Amy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be going on 4 minutes after our intro song. You should check out the intro song. It's pretty sweet. David, I'll call you after this too, man. We definitely need to get together.
One minute.
What do I do? What's, I've never.
Look at this pretty girl.
Just, I mean, she's probably just gonna ask you a few starter questions, and then if you want to share some of your story, whatever. Basically, up to you. You can share part of you know, the age feel.
Starter question.
That's what I always do. That I always just go in and I just start and I go to what it was like.
Ready?
Wait, the kids' shirts are not
Right.
$4.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
lied. Like when I was on the radio and I shared my story like for the half show, I kind of asked.
It's 4 p.m.
I feel like but it really doesn't matter. It's really a recovery. And you feel
Our song's going on in a minute.
Oh.
And then after our song.
9690.
the radio. It's easy.
Creator of the Rochester
Like, all right, they're not judging.
So what I've been doing is turning the volume down so it's not playback between there and here.
Rochester Free Radio. WRFC Health Rochester.
I didn't
See the change. Roberto, what's going on, brother? What? It's working over here. Cass, hi Cass. Roberto, my brother, David. The intro song's playing right now. Give me a thumbs up in the comments if you can hear the intro song.
Okay. It's Karina's on the guest on it.
I don't know how to do it. Why don't you right here?
So, how did you do it before, Karina?
I'm gonna bring myself onto the show. Here's the thing, it'll say I'm watching, add as guest.
Oh, wait. You didn't come on. Chris is the only one.
Hold on. Now I see it.
We need a pair of headphones here for Rudy.
There's the 4. She said she wasn't
No,
going
there's
on.
only 3. There's red ones, purple ones, and black ones.
Right there.
Maybe.
All right, guys. We have like 20 seconds probably. Not even.
Coming. Follow me, man.
Oh, wait. You didn't come on.
Did it
Chris
work?
is the only one. There's the 4. She said she wasn't going on.
What's going on, Rochester? You're listening to Be the Change Radio. Neffy in the house.
Chris, Donnie.
Karina. And we have special guests today. We're so excited. We have the one and only Rudy, who is in charge and started this huge thing, the Father Tracy Health and Wellness Center. And then we also have Phil, who is going to be sharing his story. We're going to start off with Rudy. Rudy,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
get a little bit closer to the mic.
Good afternoon, ladies
Perfect.
and gentlemen.
Okay, tell us a little bit how you ended up at 821 North Clinton.
Well, let's see. There's a lot of ways you could answer that question, but I guess the most compelling answer I could give you is that I was led to Clinton Avenue, a place I know all too well, and a place where the greatest concentration of the Latino community is, and unfortunately, the greatest concentration of where the heroin epidemic is located, and its impact on this whole region, not just Rochester or Clinton for that matter.
And I mean, you see it right from sitting inside 821. It's insane watching that field.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I think the way I look at it is that these are many broken and lost souls, people who are wandering, and people who come to the avenue to, cop their drugs, if you will. But I'm more interested in what leads people to come down there and what leads people to use. And so the way I look at Clinton Avenue beyond what's obvious is how might we be able to help people get out of addiction.
Right. And I mean, we've been doing that, and it's awesome. And 821 is just such a perfect location. You couldn't have got a better location.
Well, the way I describe 821 is, I've used this expression before and I'll use it again. 821. 821 is what I call the location within the Bermuda Triangle. And the Bermuda Triangle is surrounded by Evergreen to our left, Scranton's to our right, and Settlement to our left. So if you just kind of draw a line between all those three locations and the area surrounding, in that area, many of people have come and unfortunately have lost their lives. That way I don't make any joke about what I'm saying. What I am saying is that people come in there and don't come out alive. So to refer to it in such a fashion is to basically say to folks that we're at what is called ground zero. We are logistically, if you put us on a map and measure this longitudinally and latitudinally, we are dead center at where the worst of the worst of the worst exists. So you're right. It could not be a better location. If you're going to go find people, you might as well go right where they're at.
Well, we got somebody today that went into detox. Got him in, got him a ride and everything, and he's on his way there right now.
And to the credit of Hope Dealers, and certainly to the credit of the center, this is a brother who has known the streets, and today he made a choice, and we were there to help him, and I'm grateful that the system responded, and I'm most especially grateful to the Hope Dealers who took the time and initiative to make sure that this fella, when he was ready, got what he needed. And so, yeah, today is a good day.
It was. I loved it. I was so happy.
I was so happy.
The look on his face when you were like, they have a bed right now, like just his eyes lit up, you know what I mean? And I know for me, when I was ready to get into a place, when that happened, it was like the greatest thing in the world, you know? Because I never know if I'm going to make it till tomorrow, let alone, you know, if I'm still going to want to make that same decision tomorrow to get into treatment.
I just want to say that for me, this is why I do it. You know, having somebody come and really not just talk about wanting to get help and then like asking a few questions and leaving, but this was like the second time that he came to us specifically. So being able to be a part of that process for me is like, I don't know, it just does something to my soul, especially because everything panned out. You know, like sometimes it doesn't always pan out for us, even though we, you know, try to the best of our ability, but being able to set everything up and like being able to walk him to that vehicle, like he had tears in his eyes, you know, he was so happy that he was finally going to get help.
Everything fell in place. That's what happened today. Everything fell right into the right place and for the right person.
And so let me add, we as human beings, we're very talented people. We did everything well today. I will say that. But I have to also believe that not a single human being is in control of the decision when you're tired of being tired.
Amen.
That goes beyond the boundaries of what a human being can rationalize. Let me just put it that way. So I wanted to say that part of what made today successful in this particular intervention, in my view, and I humbly submit this, guys, is that it was a work greater than any one of us single-handedly could accomplish. But if you believe in higher powers, then you know that the higher power was at play today, and then the end result of that was what you saw. People coming together, phone calls being answered, beds being available. I mean, this ran counter to what seems to be, you know, most people's everyday experience in trying to get someone into care. So I just want to say that, you know, as human beings, we did what was the right thing, but there's an element of success that has nothing to do with being human.
Right. I totally agree.
I agree.
Now, Rochester right now only has 24 detox beds, to my knowledge. We're trying to find out. There might be more at Unity we're hearing about. And we're hoping that is the case, but it's so hard because, you know, weekends, so many places are closed. They don't answer the phone. So, and that was a huge part of today was people answering the phones at centers. And, you know, God works in mysterious ways. And today he was working.
Definitely was working on his job.
Yeah. The other piece of it is that we have to adapt the system of services, you know, what we call us providers, And we need to change how we look at this equation. We need to change the hours that we do these things. I joke about what I call the Clinton Avenue time zone. It's very different than the Eastern and Western and Mountain. The Clinton time zone, what is normally 8 o'clock to most people, is 1 o'clock on Clinton. And so we have to adjust, if you will, our time zones to theirs.
Right.
And what makes the weekends most valuable is when people are within a 2-day window where everything sort of stops. And that's the moment to intervene, because that's usually when people are ready to get some help. And they can't get from Friday to Monday because, you know, the activity of life on the avenue is, you know, generally Monday through Friday. Weekends, you got to spend a lot of time out there chasing your drug of choice.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, that's when we're available. That's when we're open. That's when we're ready. And in the case of today, I can't make a better illustration of what I just said.
Right. Now, Rudy, what are the hours you are open during the week?
Yeah, we're starting up now. What I will say is this. The hours for now are going to be from 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. In the future, we're going to open up Tuesday and Thursday evenings all the way through till 9 o'clock. We're going to see how that works out. And then obviously we're going to continue with Hope Dealers on Sunday. And I hope one day that we'll be able to do even Saturday hours. So this idea that we want to run counterintuitive to what is most people's general experience means that when we're out there, the system is going to need to back us up by having people available on Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Yay.
Well, volunteer work. That's what everybody's got to do, is some volunteer work. Just put in for the community.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then, I mean, we can always use help in the streets. We are, I wanted to talk about, we're putting together our walk, and we have put together our order for our shirts. If you go to our website, www.hopedealersbtc.com, you can click on the homepage, and there is a link on how to order shirts. The walk is April 21st, and it starts at 10:30 a.m. It's about 1.8 miles we will be walking, and then we'll be releasing balloons in honor of people lost to addiction or lost in addiction. You know, there's so many people that are still alive, but just not
really alive, though.
Right. They're not living. They're not enjoying, you know, the gifts that life has to offer. So we welcome everyone to come out with us for that.
Steph, is this something where an individual can get sponsored? Is this that type of walk?
No, not yet. We have talked about that actually, but no, I started this. This is actually mine and Justin's wedding anniversary. So we did the first one last year because I didn't want to sit at home, and I wanted to be loud, and I'm so tired of going to funerals, as I'm sure many of us are. And this is about raising awareness about addiction and hitting the streets as a team, and making people aware that we're here, we're fighting, we're not going anywhere. And that, you know, so many people that have fallen, we still think of them and we fight for them every day. So yeah. And we are looking into putting together more events, and those will be to come. But yeah, we have talked about doing something like that. I don't know.
This is the big one, though. Yeah. I mean, this is what all it has been planned around. Last year, I know I wasn't here for it last year, but I feel like this is the event that we really have been working and waiting for.
Yeah, I'm looking so
forward to this. There's a lot of people that we've reached out to via social media, and I think a lot of people are going to come, man. And we just keep spreading the word. Rochester, help us spread the word. You know, We'd like to get as many people as we possibly can out here. You know, the more voices we have, the more we'll be heard, and the more people will understand, and the stigma will be shattered. That's our ultimate goal, is to shatter the stigma, and just be the voice of our loved ones, of our friends, our aunts, our uncles, brothers, sisters, you know, because this addiction thing is touching a lot of lives. It's not just one class of people or one male or female or anything like that. It's touching all people. So we want to unite everyone, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do anything about this epidemic, is unifying and coming together as a community. The county as a whole, Rochester as a whole, you know, just unity is probably the most important thing right now as far as a spiritual principle goes, with making an impact on this thing. It's going to take a lot of people working together. It's not one organization or one tactic that's going to tackle this epidemic. It's going to be us all working together on different levels, coming from different avenues and helping different types of people.
So everyone needs to come. That's going to be Saturday, April 21st. We're going to be meeting at 10:30 in the morning. We're going to be meeting at Martin Luther King Jr. Park. It's at Manhattan Square. Come, bring your kids, bring your cousins, bring everybody you know. Make a sign if you want. If you want to get a T-shirt, again, we'll have the T-shirts. We're trying to bring awareness, and we need you guys to do it with us.
And if I could chime in as a voice of, I hope, encouragement. Success requires one thing, and that is persistence.
Yeah.
And I would say to you guys, be persistent. The only opportunity to create change is if you understand that this is a long haul. Each of us might carry a portion of that torch into the future, including those families who have been impacted. Because I think that if you want to create change and if you want to heal, one of the great benefits to recovery is that it was purposed not solely so you could have that experience. I learned that the hard way. But there was purpose so that experience would better prepare me for the situations that, for example, I'm encountering today in my life. I'm working on Clinton Avenue. So, heads up to those who are wondering, what should I do? What I would always say is it's always better to do something than it is to do nothing. And so I encourage you guys to come out on the 21st. I encourage you guys to come by the Father Tracy Health and Wellness Center on Sunday if you want a trial run of being involved. So please do get involved, because the issue is not going to simply go away. We all know that. But the opportunity to create change is based on how many people are willing to get involved.
Absolutely.
Right, and
Well said, Rudy.
even just for conversation, you know, a lot of these people have not been treated like humans. They, you know, are talked down to. The couple that came in today were saying how they got kicked out of the laundromat that they were in, and the people were very mean to them. And the girl was pretty much in tears downstairs talking about it, and it's just very sad. And these are humans; these are somebody's kids, and I hate that they are made to feel so little, and that's such a huge part of not reaching out for help, is because you're already ashamed and embarrassed, and you are your own worst critic, and just talking to them is so huge.
So true.
Well, you know, again, I think that what I've experienced on Clinton is that people want you to do one really simple thing, and that's to actually care. And care is actually, to me, an action word.
Yeah.
I don't have to preach to you about recovery. Tell you what, if you're hungry, I'm gonna feed you. If you're thirsty, I'm going to give you to drink. If you're broken, I hope I can bring a word of encouragement to you. And if you want change, when you're ready, hear me again, when you're ready, we're ready. And so you, for those who are struggling, listening, for those who are in recovery, you want to keep it. One of the ways that you keep it, and one of the ways you acquire it, is you not only participate, but when you're participating in the process, you're giving it back. And that in and of itself is what helps us all to heal from the brokenness inside. So, addiction and the use of drugs is the exterior, but behind that is a deep interior that really is where the emphasis should be placed. So caring about people is dignifying them, just like the gentleman who came today and managed to get into care. Today, if nothing else, he knows that there are people who genuinely care about his life.
Mm-hmm. Right. So true. We are about to play a quick song, and then when we come back, dun dun dun, dun dun dun, we have Phil who's going to share his story and, give us all some inspiration. He's doing amazing, and we can't wait to hear about what the gifts of recovery are doing for his life.
Phil.
Keep listening, guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Rochester.
And we're back.
Back.
I can't stand you guys. We have Phil, who is going to tell us why he's here. And what? What is going on?
What's happening?
Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Wait.
Hold on. Where'd Phil go? Hold on.
Oh, Phil is not here.
Phil
so
took a
we're
little
gonna-
restroom break.
He's coming. That was just funny. It kind of reminded me of my childhood when I used to play Where's Waldo.
Oh my God.
And then, like, as the years went on, right, people started playing Where's Chris, you know?
Family functions, things like that.
But I didn't have a red striped shirt on. It was black and white striped, and I was in
Every
the county
day.
jail.
Every single day.
I could pretend to be Phil. I could see if I could do Phil. I don't know. Let's try it. Here we go.
I don't think you can.
No.
Okay, there we go. There's my story. Sticking to it.
Stick and
All
stay.
right, here comes Phil, the man of the hour,
Um,
I think.
Phil's somewhere.
All right, anyways, so, Stephanie,
yes.
what'd you think about cleanup today?
I thought it was great. We picked up, I would say, over 100 needles. I think you have the count on that. 124?
26.
126.
Wow.
And the lady Julie, who is actually my cousin Stacy's stepsister, made us lunches, and she put 2 sandwiches in each bag. So really, we had 60 lunches, but we had 120 sandwiches.
Yeah, 60-60, though. We're handing them to 60 people, whether there's 1 sandwiches or 2 sandwiches.
And they all went. All the lunches went out. We found a few properties that were unsecured. Some of them we just left. I don't know. We picked up tons of needles, obviously, because the snow is melting. I don't know. Your feelings on how it went?
I think it went well. I was excited because I missed cleanup last week due to the new medication. I wasn't feeling well, and I wanted to spend time with that lovely lady you're sitting next to also. But Who? Anyways, yeah, so I think cleanup went well. It was good. We got over 100, which is always good. For a couple weeks there, we were a little bit slow on the needle cleanup just due to the snow and stuff. So that thaw allowed us to make a little more of an impact in that area. And ultimately, I mean, any day that we're able to reach one person, even if we contact 1,000, if we're able to reach one person out of what we're doing, then it's a success, you know. And no matter what, just us being out there, I feel leaves an impact because people see it, you know. People see our persistence, like Rudy was talking about, us being out there every weekend. Him allowing us to be at 821 every Sunday, and him being there throughout the week, and people are noticing those things. So,
Hey guys, guess what?
Phil.
He's back. He's back.
What's up, Phil?
What's up?
Phil, how's it going, buddy? How you doing?
Great. A little nervous, but great.
Don't be nervous. Listen, it comes naturally. So let me just say, Phil, how long have you been in recovery?
My sobriety date is August 29th, 2016.
Amazing.
Yepper.
All right, tell me everything.
What do you want to know?
I want to know everything.
I want to know it all.
Beginning to.
How did it start for you, Phil?
Well, it all started. You know, I could look back as far as to when I was a child, always just wanting more, and I always wanted to feel the happiest I could, whether it was with video games or shopping, any kind of instant gratification. And so, you know, I went into high school and did what I did. I started drinking on the weekends, just having fun, and that's what it was. It started off as fun. Little did I know that it would turn into a dark abyss. So, you know, after high school, I go into college, and, you know, I started at MCC, and I actually went for an associate's in human services and for substance abuse counseling.
Wow.
But things took a quick turn when I felt, you know, alcohol enter my system. I was a completely different person. I had not a care in the world, not a worry in the world. I was happier than I've ever been. And that took precedent over schoolwork. Like I said, I was at MCC and I did complete the degree. However, I did not get that human services portion of it because I didn't do the extra effort and get the hours in, right? So the next step would be to go on to SUNY Brockport, which I did that, and I enrolled in my classes there full time. I ended up meeting a group of guys, and they drank the way that I wanted to drink. And then it turned into I drank the way they drank, and they drank the way I drank, and it progressed. It progressed like I couldn't imagine. And I was introduced to other substances as well at that point. And then at this point, I fell in love with, cocaine, marijuana, and of course the alcohol. I mean, I was day drinking at this point. I was a blackout drinker. I puked a lot. Everywhere, but that still to me was a great feeling, and it got to the point where I stopped going to classes at Brockport, so they decided to kick me out. And with that, I still stayed in Brockport because I had signed a lease of an apartment, and I got into ecstasy and did some mushrooms, but I really loved the effect of cocaine and ecstasy. So as you can tell, I'm an uppers person, even in sobriety. So that turned into me finding the restaurant industry. I did so, and it was cash on hand. Mm-hmm. And that turned into easy access, not only to get drugs, but the booze was all around me, and I thought it was normal too.
Yeah, it becomes normal when you work in. I hate
the food industry.
Yeah, I have to say it.
Yeah.
It's really rare to not find somebody in the food serving industry that's not using those substances.
And don't get me wrong, I know some people who work in the bar industry, who are bartenders and have great sobriety. And my God, good for them, and I look up to them.
Congratulations to them.
Right. But I know for me, I had to leave, but that doesn't come till later. At this point, this is when my addiction, I think, really grabbed me by the cojones and took control of my life. But I didn't know it was an addiction. I thought I was using like everyone else, drinking like everyone else. And I also got diagnosed with epilepsy in high school. And I did not want to face that. So what did I do? I continued to drink. And I was told by the doctor, no drinking. That could obviously increase that effect. I didn't want to listen. So, fast forward, my downward spiral looked as such. Stopped paying rent in my gorgeous townhouse that I had. I had a great job. I was making great money. That money, like I said, was not going to the proper things, not paying RG&E, not paying Time Warner, not paying the rent, not even paying my car payment. Seizures were happening more and more frequently. I ended up totaling my car under the South Ave Bridge, going 60 miles an hour because I had a seizure because I did too much cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And by the grace of God, honestly, I did not hit anyone. I walked out without a scratch. And it scares me looking back today. I mean, that's an instance where something happened. How many other instances did I have where I went out to the bars and the clubs and I was dancing, all night, drinking and driving with one eye open? You know what I mean? So recklessly, so irresponsibly. And my friends and I would laugh about it the next day.
Like, I made it home, haha.
Yeah.
Where's
my car? Dude, where's my car, right? And the fact of the matter is, it's not funny at all. But that's how sick I was, however you want to put it.
I feel so bad laughing right now. You just made me feel so bad.
Oh, you're fine. Because, I don't know, it becomes a norm. At least in my life, it became a norm.
You're not the only one.
Right, and you don't even, at least for me, I didn't even really think about that too often because I made sure I was always as messed up as possible to not have to.
Yeah. Yep. And, like I said, my downward spiral, the accident happened. And that wasn't enough for me to say, okay, time to get some help. I had seizures in public places at this point. I had a seizure while driving on Ridge Road. Again, nothing happened there. A Good Samaritan actually went in my window and put my car in park because I was at a red light. So finally, an intervention happened with my best friend who was visiting from New York City. She got my best friend from high school, my aunt, and then my sister was also in on it, but she was handling my parents because I was a manipulator. I hid everything. Unless you were using with me, you didn't know what I was doing. And so it blindsided a lot of my family. And with that comes hurt, anger, the whole nine. And basically, if my friend did not intervene at that time, I wouldn't be sitting here talking in a microphone. Because my plan was to be in a euphoric state when a seizure happened and maybe hit my head and not wake up. Because I was tired of living the way I was, and every day was going to be the last day. I wanted every day to be the last day that I was going to use or drink. And I didn't. And it wasn't. And that's that chaos. That's that insanity. So, I went to rehab for a couple weeks. Then I joined outpatient. And I went into a halfway house. And I've never been institutionalized. I've never been in that form of care. I've never been in that form of structured environment. And it was hard to adapt to. So, I went through a lot of struggles with the halfway house and in rehab. But outpatient, I went to Unity in Greece, chemical dependency. And I will tell you right now, my counselor that I had and have there saved my life majorly. Made me feel like I am a human being, and it's time to tackle this disease full force. And there is no judgment on my feelings or anything. And that's the first time I actually felt great. I felt loved. Even though my family loved me, I come from a big Italian family and they loved me, I felt it for the first time. And then I did find a fellowship for recovery. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
I say it.
Okay. Alcoholics Anonymous. And that has a huge part of my recovery as well. I do have a service position. I have a home group. I sponsor men. I have a sponsor. And I have a grant sponsor. A whole lineage of guys where in college I was looking for that fraternity life, for that brotherhood. Now I have a brotherhood of men. And I'm not getting vodka shoved down my throat.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a beautiful thing. It is.
Or pills.
Or nothing. No. Maybe a big book, but that can't hurt.
Lots of hugs and coffee and love and support.
And it has been. It really has. So now, I'm coming to the end of supportive living. And I do volunteer now at Unity. Because like what was mentioned, in order to keep this sobriety, I have to give it back. I have to take action. So whether it's speaking at rehabs, on a radio show, at detoxes, or a volunteer at Unity with the guys, it's all giving back and it helps me. On Fridays, I literally get up out of bed at 5:30 in the morning when I don't have to until 7. Just because I'm so excited to go see my guys. Because it's hope for me to see this new future of recovery happening. I'm also going to be going for my certification in substance abuse counseling. I did just get hired with a, I'm trying to say this the right way, not-for-profit company, and I'll be working in a halfway house, basically.
Good. Wow, that's amazing.
It is only per diem for right now, but you know what? It's a start, and I really just hope to make an impact on at least one person.
That's awesome.
You will.
That's where my sobriety lies. That's how I stay alive today, is by helping others in that aspect.
Us doing this radio station is basically helping everybody else
that we can out there. So we try to do as much as we can and try to push as much knowledge and just hope out there for everyone to understand that there are those people out there that still care and are still doing what they have to do to get the normal life going back again.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
How long have you been sober for now?
So it'll be 19 months, God willing, in a couple days.
Awesome.
29.
Congratulations.
That's great.
It's it's a crazy and wild ride. Sobriety is great. Don't get me wrong, but there are bad days.
Oh, yeah.
There are days
That's
where I
life.
just want to isolate, where I don't want. Some days I just don't want to do this anymore because that is still my mentality. I still want an easier, softer way. I still want that instant gratification. I want pain to go away. I don't want to deal with it.
But it's a
guess
part
what?
of life.
I don't have that option.
Exactly.
Because that option brings me right back to where I was.
Yep.
And where
We
I was.
all know where it goes.
It's
yes.
not pretty.
Yeah, those are the days I need a meeting the most. Or
Yep.
I need to get on the phone with my sponsor or someone in my support network, or get over to 821 and help Rudy out during the week. Those days that I want to be depressed and isolate and not do anything, those are the days that I need to do it the most. But you are right; it is so easy to be like, oh, I'm going to take I call them mental health days. I'm going to take a mental health day, when really it's me feeding into my disease. Allowing it to keep me isolated and stuck in the house.
But it's great to see you have goals, and goals are a huge part of recovery, in my opinion, because without goals, and if you're not working towards something, you're stagnant. And, boredom can be the enemy. You know that. So even though some days you don't want to do it and you don't want to work towards those goals, you do. You do. You get out of bed and you do it. And by the end of the day, you usually feel a whole lot better.
I mean, a big part of this is mindset, too.
Correct. Oh,
yeah.
And my mindset back when I was using was, I'm the black sheep of my family. They don't like me. I'm not as good. I'm not good enough. And as soon as it came out that I have this disease, the amount of support that came from my family is unreal. And the love I have with my family, I mean, it's better than ever. So those promises do come true.
Absolutely.
Now, are you a certified peer recovery coach?
Not yet. No,
you're working. That's what you're working toward. Yeah, I just went to Access. I'm trying to do the same thing. Hopefully, I look forward to working in a facility also, or someday Be the Change will have that as an opportunity also. Be able to be a peer advocate for people and stuff like that. That's really. I found my passion doing this volunteer work every Sunday, man, and that's helping people and treating people like human beings, no matter what the story is behind that face, because it's more than just a face. There's a heart, there's a soul, there's a spirit there, and my job and passion and purpose on Earth, I believe, is lifting that spirit up. You know what I mean? Any way I can, and spreading love, man. And I sound like a tree hugging hippie saying that, but spreading love. I feel like our purpose in life is love and service, ultimate love and service, man. And that's what our purpose is. I feel like so.
Wait, were you trying to say that you're not a tree loving hippie?
He is a little bit.
Rehab ranger.
You guys got to keep what I do on the weekends on the low, all right?
No, the reason I asked how long you were sober for is because your mindset in general. I think that the farther you get into recovery, the more you make rational decisions over emotional decisions. And you sound like you're making rational decisions. And
right now, as I sit here, yes, it sounds like that. But I'll tell you, this week I had pretty much an emotional breakdown, and I was in emotional mind for about 24 to 48 hours, where everything that came out of my mouth was just straight from just what I felt.
Yes.
And there was no checking the facts. There was none of that stuff. And I put all of that onto my mom, actually, because she was the person that I called. Not my sponsor or nothing. No, my mom. I drove her crazy. You know what I mean? And because she's very empathetic. So what I'm feeling, she's going to be feeling, right?
Yeah. You wanted a little bit of sympathy in this.
I threw myself a pity party. I had snacks. I had a cake. It was great. But
your sponsor would have told you, what you did.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't call him.
Right?
Exactly. So when I saw him today, I got an earful. But but working with another alcoholic and addict, that is the best feeling I have ever had.
Yep.
On top of any drug, and I can honestly sit here and say that.
Right.
And it's not temporary.
No.
That's a permanent thing as long as I keep moving forward.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right, and dude, I have so much fun sober. Like, it's ridiculous.
Who knew, right?
Right.
Who knew?
Like, I never knew people really lived that way. Like, how could you never drink or smoke pot or do coke or, like, people do that?
And all of a sudden you have feelings and it's nice, right?
Right.
I mean, you actually enjoy real things and
Or just
there's
feel-
bad days again, like we talked about, but that's life's
Right.
terms, and it's just is what it is. You know, I mean, I got to tell myself that all the time. You get depressed, it happens, but you know, you're right. There's no better. You know, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another addict is without parallel, like it says, you know, in the book, and it's so true. You know, my sponsor, I'll call him up, and he doesn't co-sign my BS. It's like. He'll call me up 2 hours later and be like, "Are you all right? Because I kind of was hard on you." And I'm like, "No, I actually needed that. Thank you."
Some days I get mad. I picked a good sponsor because he won't co-sign my BS. It's like, man, you know. But that's
Very true.
That's what's making me grow. The uncomfortability, you know. So
I mean, when I first came in the rooms, there were some, you know, people with long-term sobriety. Oh, you know, life is good, this and that. So my message is, when I do go and speak at rehabs, be ready for the bad days, because they will happen. Don't get me, like I said, sobriety is wonderful and it's a gift and I love it. But it's still reality.
Of course.
And those things are going to come. Sobriety does not mean buckets of roses.
build that foundation early on, man. Because if you don't got the foundation, the house is blowing over when them bad days do come. You
Lean
know?
on your people.
Yeah.
Right, and then life on life's
Life
terms
on life's
sucks
terms.
a lot of the time.
Yep.
It does.
That's why we can't
But-
do it alone. You know, that's for me at least, the defining point is having a network of people, because, you know, even though the fellowship that I choose is different, you know, it's still the same thing. It's still the same basis.
Darn right
You
it
know,
is.
it's about working a program. For me, having a sponsor, shout out to her, because she's amazing and I just wouldn't be okay without her. So
Yep.
I love you, Cass.
Shout out to Cass.
But I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm really grateful that you're here to spread the message in your own way, shape, and form. Because this right here, even just you being here, this is what shows people that it's possible. Here we are, doing this live radio show, and we're a bunch of addicts, you know? We're a bunch of addicts, but we're living life in recovery. And, you know, it's one thing for us to be here every week saying, you know, the same thing, talking about what we do, trying to spread the message, but then we bring, you know, other people just like you, that you're a ray of hope, and your story and your message literally can be saving and impacting somebody's life right now.
Shows there's a way out. There's hope. I mean, you hear the gloom and doom all the time about, you know, there is a lot of gloom and doom. There is.
Yeah.
There's deaths every day. But the fact of the matter is you can recover, and you can be successful in life, and you can have a family. You can do all the things you wanted to do before addiction can happen through recovery. And it's nice to have people show that, you know, on the radio show and in life in general, because like I said, the gloom and doom kind of overshadows everything sometimes. So,
Right. And the amazing part is, even like through the addiction, like you find purpose afterwards. Like you were so lost before that, and now, Phil, it sounds like you have found your purpose, and that's amazing.
Yes, and you know, like I said, I was in the service industry, and I focused so much on the bar life. Literally, my numbers were revolving around that bar, not only during my shift but after as well. And now, I'm back to the Phil that I was when I was 17 at MCC, and what I was truly going for, the thing that I lost sight of, and that was to help others. Am I going to be able to do it all in one shot? No. Am I going to be able to do it with a lot of people? No. These guys have grins on their faces right now. If you people, what is it? The chicken that's right there?
The baby.
Oh, the baby! Oh, there's a rubber chicken. I'm telling you. Right.
Well, that rubber chicken's hilarious too, but I was laughing at that earlier.
And again, these are guys with smiles on their faces. This is what recovery is all about. You got to have fun in recovery. You got to laugh. You got to smile.
You got to move forward.
You got to move forward and enjoy this one day that we have for today, like they say. And all those sayings are cliche and
But
whatever,
they work.
but they're true and they work.
You know, you hear the no matter what and one day at a
Oh, my
time
God.
and
Yep.
just for today. But it's so true.
Yep.
And it just is. I mean, if it wasn't for a 12-step program, I wouldn't be here either.
Right.
You know, and I mean,
it
I'm not
doesn't
saying
matter-
it's the only way to go, but
Right.
it saved my life and it saved a lot of lives.
And it doesn't matter the fellowship.
It doesn't.
It really
It doesn't.
doesn't. You know, I truly believe that the steps are the steps, and they help me not just with, you know, putting down my drink and my drug, but also a way of life.
That's the whole point of it. It's a
And-
way of life. It's not just to the drug, to the drink. It's learning to live by doing the right thing for the right reason. You know, and it's the next right thing.
And I still got my flaws. Don't you worry about that. Those flaws in sobriety are just grand.
Yeah. Before we run out of time, I wanted to just comment. I've been listening to the gentleman. Along the way, I learned this lesson. There are three things that I think should hopefully take place when you are looking for recovery. The first thing you got to change is people. I don't want to get too deep in it because it's too late, but I would say the greatest addiction on this planet is a relationship. So, be advised, heads up. Be advised, heads up. The second is places. Where do you spend your time? And third, in regards to the people and the places where you spend your time, what are the things that you are doing?
Yeah.
One of the old classic principles of addiction, people, places, and things. And it sounds to me, gentlemen, that along the way you made that choice. Because you see, no matter how we talk about this, when all is said and done, and I don't want to be a doom and gloom at the end of this show, but I can tell you this, you have to find strength when there is nobody around. I always said to folks, the worst time of life is when you lay down in that bed or wherever it is you may rest.
Yes.
And you lay your head down, and then it takes off. And you are there lying, asking yourself, why am I running this marathon? I will say this too. The things piece are the things that got us hurt, are the experiences that we went through, are the baggage that we have carried, and it's the way that we have evolved as a result of those experiences that makes trying to look at life differently the challenge. And so kudos to you men, because what you've done, and to others, is you actually make a choice. You know, yeah, the bad days, yeah, that's part of it, but that's part of that whether you're in recovery or not. What is critical is, what is your steps to take when you constantly find yourself in the same place?
Correct.
So if I am one prone to be depressed because I can't do my drug, well, you might want to activate your mind doing something else to distract it while you find yourself developing new behaviors that don't allow for that depression to manifest when you don't have something to do with your time. And time is our enemy, you know, and the fact that if you want recovery, folks, the only way to get it, at least as far as what I got to say about it, is you have to give it back. You have to go out there, because everything that you went through was purposed for not just solely your benefit and your recovery, but everything that you've gone through was purposed for a soul that you've yet to meet. That you don't know the moment in which what you have just shared might actually impact and transform somebody's life. You know, so
Very good. Yep.
kudos,
So true.
gentlemen. Kudos.
Thanks, you,
Rudy.
and you're absolutely right with everything you said. I mean, if you don't change everything, you will fall back.
Absolutely.
Holy moly, this hour went so fast. Thank you guys both for coming on.
Thank
you,
It
Phil.
was a great show. We would love to have you both on again. And Phil, we cannot wait to hear about your next journey. All of this is so exciting. There's just so much going on that's so exciting. So many resources that can help people who are struggling.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Be the Change Radio. And
Rochester.
106.3 WRFZ LP, Rochester, New York.
we will check you guys out next week. Keep checking out the website for new things coming up for our Sharps count and all that fun stuff. We love you, Rochester, and we will see you next Sunday.
Keep being the change, Rochester.
Bye.
Love you.
Be the change.